In ancient days, a great host of Outlanders from the west came to steal the land of the Dunmer. In that time, Nerevar was the great Khan and war leader of the House People. All the tribes joined the House People to fight a great battle at Red Mountain. Though many Dunmer tribesmen and housemen died at Red Mountain, the Dwemer were defeated, their evil magics destroyed, and the Outlanders were driven from the land. But after this great victory, the power-hungry Khans of the great houses slew Nerevar in secret, and setting themselves up as gods, neglected Nerevar's promises to the tribes. But it is said that Nerevar will come again with his ring, and cast down the false gods, and by the power of his ring will make good his promises to the tribes, to honor the spirits, and drive the outsiders from the land. That was the story of the Nerevarine, as an Ashlander might tell it. The Ashlanders are the direct descendants of the Aldmeri peoples who followed the prophet Veloth into Morrowind. They despise the soft lives and decadent worship of the settled Great House Dunmer cultures, and do not acknowledge the power of the Tribunal. Rather, they believe the Tribunal betrayed Lord Nerevar at the Battle of Red Mountain, and that they are kept alive by magical means not unlike necromancy. The Ashlanders are a nomadic people, and they live in huts which can be dismantled and moved. Their portable huts consist of hides stretched on a chitin frame. These huts can be dismantled quickly and packed atop a guar to move to new grazing or hunting grounds. They have no need for material wealth. Big buildings, heavy furniture, and fancy clothes are things the House Dunmer have, which they consider useless trash. The Ashlander people have no set religion, but rather practice shamanistic and primitive ancestor worship. This ancestor worship not only reveres forefathers, but the Daedra as well, primarily Azura, Boethia, and Mephala. In their ancestor worship, the Ashlanders honor their dead. Extensive burial caverns are constructed in which to place the dead. These burial caverns are then guarded and looked over by the ancestor spirits of the Ashlanders. They also believe that there is no greater evil than necromancy, which they view as profaning the bones or spirits of their fathers. The Ashlanders accuse almost all Dunmer great houses of stealing their lands and scorn the great house Dunmer for giving into the empire. They view the Telvanni as being ruled by old evil wizards who are Daedra worshippers and necromancers. In the eyes of the civilized Dunmer, the Ashlanders are very xenophobic, shunning all Outlanders, and are known to be aggressive towards foreigners in their lands. However, if an Outlander performs a good deed for an Ashlander clan, they may be named clan friend, and thus be adopted into the tribe. There are 4 major tribes of the Ashlanders, which are the Ahemusa tribe of the Azura's coast region, the Arabenimsun tribe of the Molag Amur region, the Urshilaku tribe of the Ashlands and West Gash regions, and the Zainab tribe of the Grayslands region. There are also tribes living on the mainland, such as the Kagesh and Ulath of Stonefalls, the Variansu of Deshan, and the Mabrigash of the Vale of the Ghost Snake. Each tribe is traditionally led by an Ashkan, whereas the spiritual leadership lies with the Wise Woman. The dream visions and prophecies of the Wise Women are a respected tradition in Ashlander culture. Following the disastrous Red Year in 4E05, the widespread worship of the Tribunal ended. The rise of a new temple completely vindicated the previously persecuted Ashlanders, who had persevered in worshipping in the 3 Daedra for millennia. Among the Dunmer, the Ashlanders are lauded for having the true vision, to keep true to the old ways. It is now quite common for many Dunmer to make arduous pilgrimages into the ash wastes to seek the counsel of the Wise Women, who have done much to dispel tribunal worship. The Ashlander culture of Nirn draws inspiration from similar nomadic cultures on Earth. Here are some parallels with some differences. One nomadic society on Earth, the Mongols, gave rise to the largest land empire in history. Although the Ashlander clans did not trust each other, did they ever have expansionist ideas like the Mongols? Another example is the Romani, who originated in the Indian subcontinent and reached Europe around the 14th century. The Roma were peaceful nomads. The Ashlanders can also be compared to the native Indians of the North American continent, who were persecuted and forced to move and live on lands that were not used by the Europeans. In 2E582, when playing the Elder Scrolls Online, we see how there were attempts to claim the title of Nerevarin by the Ashkan at that time, Kanun Chodala. This was another example of how failed incarnates over the centuries sought to fulfill the Nerevarin prophecy. The relationship between the Ashlanders and the rest of the Dunmer people is complex, given their separation for many centuries. The Dunmer people have forgotten the nomadic and xenophobic nature of the Ashlanders and look down upon them. The great houses of Morrowind are perceived to be full of politics and backstabbing, which may be abhorrent to the Ashlanders. The reintegration of Ashlanders into Dunmer society after the fall of the Tribunal would not have been easy. In 4E207, when playing Skyrim, a Dunmer meets the Dragonborn in Solstheim and says, "We're all Ashlanders now." The question is, have the Dunmer people accepted that they are Ashlanders in the Fourth Era? Ultimately, the Ashlanders were venerated as those guys who were actually right in the end.